Who is going to qualify for Katowice? Will Zest finally overtake Hero Marine in the most EPT Cups won? And is there a way to give someone else a headache without having to drug them? All of these questions will be answered in today's episode of StarCraft Today. StarCraft Today. Your favorite StarCraft news show. With Intel Extreme Masters Katowice around the corner, I think it's a good idea to take a look at the rankings and see what could still happen. Intel Extreme Masters Katowice is divided up into two stages, the round of 36 play-in and the 24-player group stage. Now, most people that have qualified for the round of 36 are already pretty much set in stone. However, there's also a possibility of direct qualification into that round of 24 group stage. And there's one fight in particular that is really fun to look at, and that is Showtime versus Lambo. Bit of a German rivalry, and honestly, it looked over. It looked like Showtime had won it, but then all of a sudden Lambo in next grabbed a crap ton of EPT points, actually got ahead of Showtime. So right now, as of this moment, Lambo is up 5 points over Showtime. Last weekend, there was the Last Chance qualifiers for America, EU and Korea. And in those qualifiers, if one of the two had qualified and the other didn't, most likely the person that qualified would have also qualified for the round of 24 Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, which is something like a $2,000 price difference. So it's a pretty decently sized deal as well. Showtime made it into the qualifier match twice, but lost the time and Elazer in the American qualifier. Very painful. And now the weeklies all of a sudden start mattering a lot because the difference is only 5 points. We've seen both players play every single weekly cup so far, because in every single weekly cup you can get 10 points for winning, 5 points for getting second. I think you get 3 and 2 points for getting third and fourth place respectively. So there's a really sick battle now, and it makes the weeklies a lot more fun to watch, knowing that both of these guys are fighting for a spot in the main tournament of the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. This week also was the final week of the World Team League regular season, with 4 teams still fighting for the playoff spots. Team GP, Team Liquid, Africa Freaks and Psystorm. Day 1 had Team GP and TL in a direct confrontation, which TL managed to win with a 4-3 score. Harstem taking 3 maps, winning the Ace against Ryang. Uthermal winning a single map as well, meaning 4 points. The Ace win. Team GP was out, but Team Liquid not necessarily through. In order for Team Liquid to advance into the playoffs, Team NV needed to take out Psystorm the next day, winning 5 maps or more. And Team NV did just that, beating Psystorm 6-0, meaning that Team Liquid advances on into the next round, but Psystorm isn't necessarily out yet. If Africa Freaks tomorrow loses to Invictus Gaming before the Ace match, Psystorm still goes through in 7th spot, I believe. It's a lot of math, it's very difficult, but so far Team Liquid is through, and if Africa Freaks takes 3 maps or more, Africa Freaks versus Team Liquid will be the first match of the playoffs, which starts January 21st. Exciting week. On top of that, Team NV also managed to 100% clinch the first place as they took out Psystorm 6-0. Shopify Rebellion now can't catch up anymore. They're going to be at least 1 point behind, possibly more. That's it for the World Team League, the regular season. This week's Zoom In is going to be on Elazer. Elazer in the Last Chance qualifier, losing in the first round against Scarlet 2-1, making the loser bracket run of an absolute lifetime. Going versus Eric 2-0, Zaun 2-0, Nina 2-0, to end it up almost getting 3-0'd by Showtime after being down 2-0. It's looking rough for Elazer, but he gets back, takes 3 games in a row and wins the series 3-2. Not only winning for himself, but also winning for his friend Lambo, making sure that Lambo still has a chance to get that round of 24 in Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. The power of friendship, that is. This week's game of the week is MaxPax versus Hero Marine Game 4 in the Europe Last Chance qualifier. In this game, starting as a pretty standard game, MaxPax opening with Blink into Storm, while Hero Marine went for a Marine tank-based composition. A couple of decent fights for MaxPax, some big storms were landing, and he got a slight lead. After all, he decided, you know what, it's time to kill my opponent. And I think had Hero Marine decided to stay home and was just there to get killed, he probably would have gotten killed. But instead, Hero Marine said, no, just gonna fly across the map with all of my units. I'm going for a base trade, and the base trade did ensue. And somehow, some way, Terran managed to get ahead out of that, keeping a lot of SCVs alive, keeping a lot of the buildings alive as well. And as the game continued on further and further, Hero Marine just kept pulling further ahead because of his superior mining and superior production. And in the end, does end up winning. Pretty sick game, and for me, the game of the week. As always, we had 3 ESL Open Cups this week as well, starting on the Sunday in Korea. Solar taking on the recent military returnee in Hero in the finals. Solar just a little bit too strong for Hero though, winning 3-2 in a very close series. Moving on to Europe, we saw MaxPax butchering another Protoss in the finals, as it was a new challenger that had appeared in Petit Drogo. And well, I think if this is the experience that Drogo gets to expect in the finals, that he'd rather not go to the finals again, because MaxPax really did slaughter him here. Of course, MaxPax's PvP is fantastic, and he showed that once again by taking home the EU Cup. Moving over to North America, where both Lambo and Showtime were competing for these valuable EPT points. Lambo got taken out by Gumiho pretty early on, 2-1. And Showtime got taken out just before he got in the points by Beyond, Lambo's teammate, 2-1. Beyond and Gumiho ended up meeting in the final, in which Beyond was just a little bit too strong for his fellow Korean Terran player. Beyond taking his 8th cup win. That's it for the ESL Open Cups. This week's clip of the week is a clip that I think only gets better if you don't understand any French and you just look at the situation. Enjoy.
Pour un mec gluten free, ça n'a pas été très gluten free là-dessus. Oh, le... Ok, non, bah si, on va se taper le recall. Du coup, c'est fini. Game numéro 3 qui va être embrayé, du coup, juste après cette fight là, je pense. Même avec un DNS qui est pas forcément le premier à quitter des games et qui en vrai...
What the fuck?
Attends, quoi? Mais non. Mais non. Mais non! DNS le matelas qui vient de tuer tous les carrières de son adversaire. Alors peut-être seulement avec des trackers qui avaient des upgrades de bouclier. Qu'est-ce qui vient de se passer? On va retourner dans la game juste après pour regarder cette fight, parce que ça n'avait aucun putain de sens, Gérard.
Plus de pro, nickel. Il fait one tap tous les carrières en fait.
Attends, non, mais il y a zéro économie des deux côtés.
I feel like in the dying seconds there, Sion actually secretly was hoping for that Nexus to die, so that his units don't teleport home. Because sometimes you push the recall button and then as you do it, you realize, I shouldn't have done that, should I? I think that was one of them situations. Alright, that's going to be it for this week of StarCraft Today, but not before we discuss the nocebo effect. Now, the nocebo effect is the opposite of the placebo effect, which basically means if you give someone a sugar pill or some random pill, vitamin C for example, vitamin D, and then you tell them that they're gonna get a massive headache or some other side effects, there's a pretty decent chance that even though that pill will not cause a chemical reaction that will cause that side effect, that people will still report that they have the side effect. So the next time you just want to sleep peacefully at night, you just give your significant other a vitamin C pill and tell them you're gonna get a headache. And just like that, a quiet sleep at night. Alright, that's going to be it for today's episode of StarCraft Today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Go buy those vitamin C pills and I'll see you all next time for a new video. Thank you so much for watching and bye bye.